life coach for college students. Hi, my name is Armand Dupuis, and I have been a life coach for almost half a century now. As a matter of fact, next year, 2022, I'll be celebrating my half century of coaching. And what I'm offering is an accelerated path of personal growth, and I mean accelerated. And not only do I have life coaching for college students, but also you could become a student life coach. And that's a whole different story. So, keep on listening. Now, this is professional life coaching with an online life coach and certified life coach training for a lucrative part-time income. Now, some people just want to have coaching. That's fine. If you want to be a coach, that's a whole different matter, and it's going to be very available to you. Now, it's going to be at a price that everyone can afford. And that's kind of important for college students, okay? Now, in this video, I'm not going to go into great detail about the teachings themselves because I've got other videos and shows and so on that you can listen to immediately and get all of the details, and you can watch that right away. Just watch the rest of this video to get the overview, and we'll go from there. Now, instead, I'm going to focus on how these teachings can impact you as a college student, because this could change your life for the rest of your life. And I'm talking big time. And nothing here is difficult. It's all very easy. Now, for example, you could have much better marks, Like part of my training, for example, is some memory techniques. And I'm not going to try to teach you a memory course, but suffice it to say that way back in September of 1980, I was the founder of the very first memory school in Toronto. And we had students that were kids, we had some that were adults on courses, and on the average, with only 21 hours of instruction, they were bumping their marks up by 20 points. If somebody was making in the 50s, now they were making 70s. If they were making in the 70s, they were making in the 90s, and so many of our students aced their exams. Now, also a part-time income. And that's really a problem for the majority of college students, is because, unless you're going big time into debt, you probably are trying to work at some part-time job if you can get one, at minimum wage, struggling to have enough money to survive during your studies as a student. However, that doesn't leave usually very much time for studying. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. Now, develop your mind. Now, this is critical because you're in school to learn. Well, if you develop your mind first, you can learn at a greatly accelerated rate and begin to go way up in your studies and so on. But that's another whole story. And tap into your power. Now, the mind, you see, scientists tell us that we're using only 3 to 5% of our mental capabilities. And, of course, my next question is, what about the other 95%? So, but your mind is only a small percentage of your power. And over 99% of all the people on this planet are using less than 1% of their power. Okay? So that's kind of interesting when you look at it from that perspective. Look at the room for improvement, and I'm talking an accelerated path of personal growth. So what is it going to cost you? Well, my classes are in my online classroom for about an hour once a week. And I'll let you in on a bit of a secret, and you'll realize this for yourself later on, as when you begin to practice the simple tools that I give you, to use them, and you'll begin to realize that no matter how much money you had, you could not pay enough for these teachings. Okay? That's the bottom line. Now, in that case, the people who need it the most wouldn't be able to afford it, especially not a college student, And so my monthly fee, now listen carefully, my monthly fee is a donation. That's half of it, okay? I'm assuming that you're an average college student, you don't have a whole lot of money, and maybe all you can give is a couple of bucks a month or whatever, okay? Fine. But to make up the difference, you can volunteer to help out, to do little tasks and so on that we need doing, and to work for the whole community, because that's what I'm really doing, is starting a community of individuals who are all on an accelerated path of personal growth. And that way you have people who are on the same wavelength, so to speak, yet you can discuss things intelligently with, okay? So, here's the really good news. Now, not only do I have a paid apprenticeship program, that's an interesting concept, isn't it? But I also have a very huge profit sharing plan. And it's divided between our coaches and our volunteers. So if someone doesn't have the money to pay for the courses, you're devoting a few hours a week to help pay for your classes, guess what? You also take a piece of all the money coming in. Okay? You'll get your percentage. Now, here's how that works. Every month, a huge percentage of the profit, I'm not talking 5 or 10%, I'm talking a huge percentage of the profits goes into a pool. And that pool is divided 50-50 between our coaches and volunteers. Now, someone could be a coach getting paid for that and also be a volunteer and getting a share of that also. So there's the opportunity with very few hours to make a nice little income. Now, you have two options. The first option is all you're interested in is to get a professional life coach. You want professional life coaching. You don't have any interest in helping other people, with their life, that sort of thing. And that's fine. Then you can go and look at the introduction to the classes themselves. And your second option is if you also want to become a life coach, that's a whole different ballgame. Now, in the classes themselves, the first 2 lessons are free, okay? Lesson 1 is pre-recorded. But first I have an 8-minute radio show that gives you a really good overview of what's going to be in that lesson 1, which is about 50 minutes long. And believe me, as you progress through that lesson, I reveal more and more secrets. So you want to pay attention to the whole thing so that you do get a complete understanding. Now, if you like what you hear in the 8-minute video, I'll give you the link so you can listen to lesson 1 right away. No big waiting time. Now, lesson 2 is a live class in my online classroom. And that's where you can ask all of your questions live and in real time. Now, also, up to this point, you will not have invested one single dime of your money. Now, if you want to become a life coach online, I have life coach training online, and all of my coaches can only come from my own students because nobody else is teaching this. I show you all the shortcuts and the essential areas of life so you can take your whole life to a whole new level, and nobody else is doing this. So my coaches can only come from my own students. And basically, I have a paid apprenticeship program, and that's just the beginning. Now, would you like to become a life coach? Becoming a life coach is really easy with my apprenticeship program because you get to actually practice in the classroom, so you wind up with a developed skill, a very valuable skill, I might add, that'll be with you for the rest of your life. I have a special radio show on becoming a life coach, and if you like what you hear in that, then you can get instant access to a private show which will give you in-depth details about what's really going on. Now, I've put a link in the description below this show, and also I've put a link to the class, the lesson introduction, if you will. And if you're interested in becoming a life coach, you should certainly listen to both introductions, but take them both the next step from there, so you understand what's going on. There's no point of wanting to be a life coach if you don't know what's in the teachings. That wouldn't make any sense. So if you're willing to spend a little bit of time to educate yourself, you will discover a whole new world, and that world is actually inside of you. I just show you how you tap into it. Now, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment to let me know. Now, if you didn't like the video, leave me a comment and tell me how I can improve. Okay? Now, remember to subscribe and ring the bell, and congratulations for watching this whole video. You've taken the first step. So, here's what to do next. If you want to watch the introduction to the lessons, click on the card above, and for the intro to the life coaching training, I click on the card below, and I've also put both links in the text below. And take the time to listen to my shows and videos, because then you'll begin to understand why I can make the claims that I do. Have a great life.